you so much. Thank you, Dave, for having me.
What up, John? John Woodbury, what up?
Looking for the new world in that palace in the sun. Oh, on the solemn Montezuma with his cocoa leaves and pearls. In his halls he often wandered with the secrets of the world.
And this subject's got around it. I ain't leave the wrong tree. And their clothes of many colors for the angry gods to see. And the men, the women all were beautiful. The men stood straight and strong. They offered life in sacrifice so that others could go on.
like Dave and I worked together, and they lifted up the stone.
Oh, they carried down from the flatland and died along the way. Oh, but they built up with their bare hands what we still can't do today.
And I know that, oh, he still lives there. And I know that he still loves me too. And I still can't remember when or how
Dave Matthews.
It's your boy Concert Viz 34 back at home.
What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34.
Yep, so your boy Concert Viz 34 coming to you here.
What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34. Aria. Okay, so this is Aria, and just tell us a little bit about yourself and about your love for the Dave Matthews Band.
I've been a fan of the band since April 28, 1998. And if you recognize the date, that's when Before These Crowded Streets was released.
Alpine is definitely a better venue than Summerfest, but we'll take it. I think I've been going to shows for about 20-something years.
I always tell people, like, compare DMB to now to when I first started. And I got started, in my opinion, I feel like I got started late. Like, I was at the very end of the band's prime. I feel like that 03 to 06 was like the end of the prime. 07, 08 was like, you know, we're at the very end. And then when Roy passed.
Dave really, this is the thing. Dave has put, Rashawn has been assigned the quarterback of this team. He is the coach, the play caller. He designs the jams. Dave just shows up and plays whatever he's going to play. Jacksonville, what up? Don't forget to hit that like button, folks. It's your boy Conspiracy 34. The band went a little later tonight. They were still on technically at 10:45 when this stream went live. We will have a guest on here as soon as he is available. Shout out to our good friend Mark. And folks, I mean, the biggest thing right now is Duval County's finest, Derek Trucks in Through Marriage, Susan Tedeschi by way of Boston, Massachusetts. Shout out to Tedeschi Trucks Band. Who knows this song? If you know this song, put it in the chat. So, I mean, the big story here, obviously, Derek and Susan, their husband and wife, Derek Trucks, who is just a child prodigy who actually made it to his adulthood with the fame. Susan Tedeschi, a gospel singer from Boston, Massachusetts, who ended up becoming one of the best, top performers in blues. And they got married. They combined their bands, which was controversial at the time, and they created the Tedeschi Trucks Band. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I've been a Derek Trucks fan since like 2008, 2009, 2010. And but Tedeschi Trucks, I was skeptical about Susan, but boy, did she prove me wrong. Susan Tedeschi, seeing the Tedeschi Trucks Band live, boy, was I proven wrong. She is amazing. She is talented, and it works. It works. It was very controversial at the time, but they made it work. They are an amazing blues rock jam band. I've been fortunate enough to see them a couple of times here. I've seen Derek with the Allman Brothers as well. And, that also includes Warren Haynes. So now the two fill-ins for the actually all the Allman Brothers, really, the main portions of the Allman Brothers, the last iteration of it, have now all guested with Tedeschi Truck. I mean, with Dave Matthews Band. O'Teal has guested. He played 41, I believe it was. Greg Allman guested Piedmont Park. And Warren Haynes obviously has been playing with them since the early 90s. And now we have Derek Trucks, who's the last main piece. I mean, obviously you have Jamoy and you have Butch Trucks, his uncle, rest in peace. But I mean, those are the main portions of them. John Woodbury says, I would love to see Mayer play with them again. I would love to see Mayer take Tim Reynolds' spot for a tour. I know Mayer's with Dead and Company. I would love to see John Mayer just be on tour with DMB the whole year. Still, shout out to Tim Reynolds, but John Mayer's tone fits this band better. And obviously he's John Mayer. All right. John Mayer's tone is what makes him amazing. So yeah, I mean, I would love that. But I mean, that's the big thing right here. And we I talked about him last night. I talked about him last night when it came to performing records here. Let's take a look here at that.
Really on it.
So let's go to that part. Let's see if I can find it. But I talked about this yesterday. Miss Kofi Burbridge, rest in power to Kofi. We miss you. We thank you for all you brought to this earth. But the rest of the band of Tedeschi Trucks Band is they can rotate people in and out. Now they have a great band, but they can rotate people in and out. The vocalists, they know how to find good talent. So the main part is Derek and Susan. They live in the same house. So even think about that during the pandemic. That's why they have a multi-album record that's coming out. They live in the same house. So when the pandemic hit, guess where they were? Next to each other. So so like people are trying to compare apples and oranges. Yeah, so that was last night. Me talking about how Dirk and Susan, they're the key parts of the Tedeschi Trucks band during the pandemic. They were able to still make music in the same household. So hey, I think I foreshadowed what was going to happen. Obviously, last time we were in Jacksonville, you guys heard the Cortz the Killer with Susan Tedeschi playing guitar. A lot of people don't know Susan is a talented guitarist. A lot of times, Derek is the main person associated with guitar parts for Tedeschi Trucks band, but Susan can play. She just focuses more on the singing for that specific band because she's a team player. And that Cortez really put out her talent. She had that Telecaster. Tim had his Telecaster back there for that performance. But I mean, that's the biggest thing about this. Michael says, make Lionheart Graves a regular song again. I think it's just the tour debut just came now. Let's take a look at this at the all time. So 2021. I mean, really, so 2021 is a unique year, right? It wasn't played that much. I got it. But in 2019, they played it. 2016, there were actually less plays. I mean, no, there's only a couple more than last year. 2015, you got some more. So, hey, what's up, Granny? Sandra Jones, how you doing, Granny? Look forward to Indy with you, Deer Creek. We're going to catch up there. So, I mean, yeah, it was cut short a little bit last year, but I mean, in general, that was kind of a unique year. 18 and 19, they got some plays. 17 was a Dave and Tim year. But yeah, I would love Lionheart Graves. Yeah, I guess that's what you're saying. It's been 4 years. So we'll see what happens. But it's already been played earlier in the tour, right? It's already been played earlier in the tour. So we'll see what happens, Michael, with that one. So the thing I pointed out last night, okay, while we're waiting for our guest, we have another unique opener, okay, and let's get over to the DMB. Shout out to DMB Society. I love that page and the people that run it, because they have a lot of these stats that they pull out. And one thing that they said today, take a look at this. No, that's not the right one. So people want to talk about set list variety. The openers are hard to predict. And listen, I got in we'll talk about it a little later, but I got into it on Facebook this morning, actually defending the band. Not saying you can't be mad about the set list, but I wanted to defend the band because people were like, oh, someone said the set lists are easy to predict. This is the 10th different song to open the tour of the first 12 nights. This is the 10th different song, folks. You want to talk about listen, you could talk about the encores and you could talk about the second half of this set, and you could say, hey, there's no stone, there's still no pig. That's fair. But you can't talk about the openers. You cannot talk about the openers. They have had a bunch of different openers. Do I want a stone opener? Yes. Would I love JTR to open? Absolutely. They got 10 different openers for the first 12 nights of the tour. The only ones who have repeated are Warehouse, right? Warehouse and You Might Die Trying. Those are the only two songs to have been repeated as an opener. But shout out to DMB Society. They also had some of the Watchtower. Now, what I'll say is this. I don't like Watchtower, but I love Derek Trucks. Derek Trucks is one of the he's one of the best. He's a top 5 guitar player of this current generation. I'm talking about, like, if you think about John Mayer and so people that are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s right now, guitar players, Derek Trucks is top 5. He's top 5. He is one of the best. He's so aware of what's going on in the music, and he's a child prodigy again that has done it right. Let's take a look at this right here. I mean, that's just amazing. Derek Trucks in his tone, the things he gets out of that guitar, he's not doing that. And listen, I know he's more turned down than Tim, but the volume matches the moment there. That's what John Mayer does. That's what Warren Haynes does. That's what Susan Tedeschi does. This may be more of how they have Tim in the mix, but that's why I love these guests like this. When you get a master musician like a Susan Tedeschi who messed around in Berkeley for a little bit, when you have a Warren Haynes who's played with legends on legends, and Derek Trucks who comes from a legendary family, a Jimmy Herring, their attention to detail, the things they're able to craft without just being loud. That is why guests are great. And listen, I wasn't sure who was going to guest on this tour because of the C19 and potential testing, but I think because Derek and Susan have been here in Jacksonville, this is their home, this is where they live. I think they were able to just get them tested, get them, quarantined, and then bring them on stage confidently because they're not in the middle of a tour. But we'll talk about this little in a little bit. But I want to bring on our first guest, Kyle, and we're gonna bring him on. He was at the show tonight, and we want to get some of his thoughts here from Jacksonville, Florida. So just give me one moment, and we'll add him on here. Kyle, how you doing today? Hello, Kyle. Hello, Kyle. Can you hear us? Kyle, let us know. Oops, I think he dropped off here. We'll see if. Oh. Hello, Kyle. Can you hear us, Kyle? Uh-oh. Okay, I think he's having issues now. He may be in the, a lot of times we have people coming out of the parking lot. So just bear with us. John Woodbury says Billy Strings is number one. I know you went to the Mission Ballroom show. I have to listen. I have to see Billy Strings live. So we'll have to see. Shane says hi from Denver. Shout out to all the Colorado folks lighting up today. John said at the beginning he lit up a doobie, and Shane is out there. He's the Mile High Dad, and there's a reason he's the Mile High Dad. It's legal now, so we can talk about it, right? All right, let's see if we get Kyle. Hello, Kyle. Can you hear us? Hello, Kyle. Yeah, I know you said you were going to try again. No worries if you're having connection issues. Hello, Kyle. All right. Yeah, there may be some issues because I know, like I said, he's probably leaving the show right now. But we thank him for trying. If we can try to get him back on here in a second, we will. But I mean, I love let me take this off too. Yeah, I mean, I love the like seeing these master guitarists that the band is friends of, and being able to get that. Let's look at the song spread here. Remember Two Things has 3 plays. Crash has 3 covers. 3 Come Tomorrow. 2 Under the Table. Only 1 Before These Crowded Streets. I think that's where, to me, I know. So let's look at night 1. And it's Crush, right? The latest Crush has been all year. But like the fact that there was only two before these crowded streets, that's a critique I'll go to right now. There's no reason there should only be two before these crowded street songs. Like that's something that I would say, yo, like that is the best of the band. Even if it's just stuff like Stay, like how do you only have two before these crowded streets? Like that is to me, that's just like that's no bueno. That's a missed opportunity, even with the mainstream. Again, play a Stay. If that's what I think that's disappointing. Only two before these crowded streets, and like to me, that's where that like that's something that's valid. And I just this morning I defended the band in the set list, and I think this is a good show. You have a mid set two step. It's a Tuesday show in Jacksonville. This is not a die hard like you could get tickets for people are giving out tickets for this show. We talked to Mark last night, and even today, someone said I have an extra ticket in the 100s if you want it. Shout out to Trish DMB. Um, so I think that's important to know. I still think this is a good song. We'll have to hear what Mark says. Mark will be on here as well in the stream. But to me, we're gonna try to get we're gonna try to call Kyle. But actually, I don't like this set. I think this is still a good set. I just think when I look at the before these crowded streets, there's no reason there should be two before these crowded streets the entire weekend or entire 2 night stand. That is like that's a shame. Still no Bayou though. Still no Bayou, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Still no Every Day, right? I think that's a great thing. I love Break For It being there. 6 Break For It's. I love the mid set two step. I love Madman's Eyes and Seek Up there. Seek Up in the 7 spot, 41 at the 3rd spot. Um, and I love the Graves and the Watchtower tonight is an exception. I typically don't like the Tim C DC Watchtower, but you have Susan Tedeschi on vocals, and you have Derek Trucks playing guitar, and you have a Why Risky Ants Marching. It's always good to end on ants, right? I think it's a good thing. So let's see. We're gonna call, and what I need you guys to do is I need everyone in the chat to let me know if you can hear. Let me know if you can hear Kyle. Okay. So we're gonna call him here. Hello, Kyle.
Hello.
Hey, you're live on the air. Can you hear me?
Yeah. How can you hear me?
Yeah, let me see. Guys, can you hear Kyle okay? Let me know in the chat. Let me know if you guys can hear him.
Hearing anything? Maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I think they can hear you. So, Kyle, tell us, you were at the show tonight, correct?
That's right. Yeah, I was in the pit about 5 deep from the rail.
All right. Tell us about this show.
It was a good show. It had a couple bumps, but really strong end, which I think I'll take that over overall. Great guest. I'd say our highlights. Seek Up was pretty much perfect. Mid-set two-step was awesome. Minaret's debut, really nice of that. And then the minarets on was just perfect. Derek Trucks on Lion Our Graves was outstanding. And Watchtower was really fun. A little something different, not your typical Watchtower, which was good. Yeah, good show. Sledgehammer in there. Samurai Cop, the only thing. You and me. There's some slow spots, but the energy was high. Everyone was happy and feeling it. So it's a good show.
That's awesome. And then tell us about Derek and Susan. People were texting me that Derek was at the soundboard and Susan was at the side of the stage. Did you see them before they came on?
Yeah, so I saw Susan walking around before the band even came on backstage, Derek and Susan, and then saw them through the first. I think they kind of hung out on stage for the first few songs off to the side. Didn't see them for a while. And then during Crush, me and another fellow in the pit saw Derek with guitar on, tuning up, which was really cool. I was hoping he would come out. I was there at the last Jacksonville show when Susan guested on Cortz. That was awesome, but I was really hoping to catch Derek, and so seeing him tuning up was cool. And then I figured he would probably play on Watchtower or something, but Lion Our Graves, what a treat. Perfect guest for that song, in my opinion.
Absolutely. We played the Cortez at the beginning of this show, and then we had a clip, someone put it on Twitter, of the Lion Our Graves, the breakdown at the end with Derek. And I'm a huge I've seen Tedeschi Trucks, Allman Brothers. I love Derek and Susan. I love Derek's guitar playing. So I think it's always a great thing. What did he do on Watchtower that made it unique?
So they kind of, instead of, I'll have to look back to the video. It's all a bit of a blur, but they kind of jammed it out a little bit. Susan actually took the lead on it starting off, but then Derek came in and jammed it out in the middle of the song before, I guess maybe in the middle of the verses. Not exactly sure when it was, but it was kind of broken up, which was pretty cool. They didn't do the Stairway to Heaven. I don't think I picked that up. So kept it kind of tight, which was cool. And it was good. Watchtower. It was fun. Bunch of people up there.
That's awesome. I prefer it without. I love Stairway to Heaven. I love the Hendrix Watchtower, but I don't think they need to. I like that it wasn't played today. That's a good thing to me.
Yeah, it's good. Switch it up. It's good. It was fun.
So there was only one Before These Crowded Streets song, and tonight and last night there was only one Before These Crowded Streets song. Last night, were you kind of shocked that certain songs weren't played for the 2 nights that you were there?
Yeah, I was expecting a Rapunzel, or maybe a Stay. I don't think they played Stay. Maybe they have this tour, but I was kind of expecting definitely a Rapunzel. I was figuring that would be one of the encore closers or set closers one night, but didn't get it. Always hoping for a Stone debut or a Pig bust out, something like that. But I'll take Lion Our Graves. That was a good, and Minarets. Didn't get Dreaming Tree either. Not sure when that'll pop up the rest of the tour. Hopefully next few shows, those guys get those. Good people get the Dreaming Tree. But yeah, it was a good 2 nights. It sure was.
Nice. And as far as the sound here compared to the Jacksonville, the Veterans Coliseum, how was the sound at Daly's Place compared to the 2019 show you went to?
Much louder. The Veterans Memorial Arena, much larger venue, and it's indoors, so that kind of affects the sound. But Daly's has this cool setup where there's these concrete balconies, almost kind of like a SPAC, you could say, and really echoes that sound. Really loud, good sound. The first night, the horns were a little bit quiet in the pit. I was in the pit again last night, and it was hard to hear Jeff some of those, more quiet notes, fills he play, couldn't really pick it up. But it seemed to be better tonight, so that was good.
Okay. And then for people who like me who may want to go to this venue, how hot is it? I saw there were fans. Is there any sort of cooling relief? Is it like feel like you're outside or inside?
It was hot. Last night wasn't as hot. We had a rain for hours before the show, so it had kind of cooled it off a bit. But tonight in the pit, there was pretty much direct sun for about 2 hours. Hour before the show, and the first hour of the show, the sun was on yet, and it was hot. It was, I think, 88, 90 degrees, something like that. There are big fans, but it really just depends. If they would come here in the fall, it would be an awesome venue to hit. 5,000 people, too, so really small, not a bad seat in the house. The pit was big. It was roomy. Great venue. Hopefully they keep coming back.
Yeah, and courtesy of Mr. Khan and the Jaguars ownership, they put that thing on the campus of the Jaguars facility, also the home of the Florida-Georgia matchup, world's biggest cocktail party. So it's very interesting to see this venue be played by the full band. Dave and Tim played it as well in 2017. Are you going to any other shows this year? Did you go to any before this show?
I did not. I was going to go to West Palm, but obviously that didn't happen. And I'm not hitting any more shows. I might hit the new West Palm dates. Just depends. But this 2-night stand looks like it's probably going to be it, depending on making to the new West Palm shows. We'll see.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, hopefully you can make it out there for West Palm. And I'm sure with the rescheduling, there's a lot of people that are looking to get rid of tickets. So you maybe if you do go, there's probably going to be a deal there with some people who are, up here in the Northeast with me that can't make it. So best of luck if you do end up looking to go to that. Any other final thoughts?
No, just a solid 2-night stand. Hoping for a few more debuts. I think everybody was, but
right.
Just solid. Good to see. Better than, I feel like the sets were probably stronger than Charleston. I wasn't in attendance, so that always affects it.
Right.
It's always better when you're there, but looking forward to the rest of the tour. I think there's going to be some quality shows.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on, Kyle, and we hope you have a good rest of your night.
Yeah, you the man. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Peace. All right. So thank you, Kyle, for being on. And it is, I'm looking at the set list, and it's still odd that there was no, just like he said, a Rapunzel from Before These Crowded Streets, a stay. I think if I would have projected, if there was an over under Before These Crowded Street songs, I would say the over under should have been 4. Right? 2 a night. If they had more than 4 in the 2-night stand, that would be the over. So that's the biggest thing for me. But I think overall, what I'm hearing from Kyle, what I'm hearing from Mark, hopefully he'll be able to get on here before we wrap up, is that this was a great overall venue. Today hotter than yesterday. Yesterday, I looked at the temperatures, the thunderstorm, and this doesn't happen that much in Florida. Usually there's a storm and it gets back up to 80. The thunderstorm was like right before the show. And it brought the temperatures to the mid to low 70s, where right now it's 79 degrees in Jacksonville and it's 11:34. For your boy Conserviz 34, of course. But today there was more direct sun and that impacted it. So it's interesting that it was very hot. They have fans going, but you're not going to feel that in the pit, in the Florida humidity, North Florida or Georgia South as they call it, but still Florida. So that's a thing to take into consideration if you do travel there. Is that Daly's place is intimate. The sound is great, as he said, compared to the Coliseum, but you're going to deal with the heat. Um, we do get it. The only thing, it's been the fifth. It's interesting because maybe I just haven't. I guess I have heard it on Sirius XM, but I want to have to listen to some of the versions of the only thing because we have 5 this year, and it's kind of sneaky how that's happened. So we have more only things in 2022 so far than the all of 2021. They played it for about a week or so, and then they cut it off in 2021. Also, I do want to have, there is some breaking news from, and I want you guys to watch this podcast. I want you guys to listen to this podcast. But apparently, let's go to Matt Norlander because apparently there's some news about the album. And again, I still want you guys to listen to this. Go to mattnorlander.com here. I'm going to put this in the chat so you guys can go here, or go to Apple Music Records and Riffs. Here is the link to Matt's site. You guys can watch this here. Part 2, Steve Lillywhite. In May, he sat down with Matt Norlander and talked about the Lillywhite sessions. But apparently there's some news about the album. The album is supposed to come out in a couple of months, according to this podcast. But listen to this full thing to get more details. I don't want to play this on the air. I want you guys to support Matt Norlander. He works for CBS. He does a lot of college basketball. Is his main gig as far as his most prominent reporting is on that. He does some other sports stuff as well, but it's the college basketball, is his college hoops is his big thing, and he knows it well. But he knows music very, very well, and he's been someone the band has had some discussions with. So he's saying in a couple of months, expect a new album. Like I said, I still think it's going to come this year. I've still held on to quarter 3, quarter 4 of 2022. It's easier to roll out an album in 2022 than 2012, even 2018, 2009. Absolutely, it's night and day. But take a look at that records and riffs, and I'm gonna listen to. I still haven't listened to this yet. I want it to be ready for this stream. So, fall. Shane says fall tour. Woohoo! We'll see what happens. I would think they would try to do a fall tour to support it, but we'll see what happens. Definitely that Hollywood Bowl was a big sign that an album is coming out and something that we can use. But I mean, the new songs are solid. The new songs are very, very solid. Let's see. I don't know if we can get Mark on because I do kind of need to get, I got some stuff to handle tomorrow morning. Shirley coming to, Seth Berry says Shirley coming to Ohio. Most likely because Columbus has been one of their stops, and Columbus has gotten some crazy things. Oh, Mile High Dad Shane has tickets to both nights at the Hollywood Bowl. Enjoy those shows. Enjoy them. Should be some special things there. So, but come tomorrow, they played When I'm Weary for the first time at the Hollywood Bowl. With the fall touring, though, depending on venue availability, again, nothing is guaranteed except a Northeast show. An Ohio show, maybe, that's typically what they do for the Midwest. Chicago's not always guaranteed. Chicago has the Blackhawks and the Bulls and other concerts, and that's the only venue they would really do in Chicago. They could do Milwaukee. Milwaukee has is it still the Pfizer Forum where the Bucks play? That is it's a venue that DMB I'm sure would love to play. But Milwaukee may be too small of a market. Chicago may be the way, but they're only going to do one. If they do the Midwest, it's either going to be Milwaukee or Chicago. They conflict, just like Alpine and Northerly Island can't be in the same year. But it would be cool if they went up to Milwaukee, right? Give people that venue is a couple years old now. It was built right before the pandemic. It's beautiful on TV. I haven't been there in person, but We'll see about that fall tour. But again, the with the fall tour, they love to do that Northeast thing, make their money every 2 or 3 hours up and down the East Coast and call it a tour. Maybe a Toronto date, maybe not for the fall tour. Definitely for the summer tour, they're still set to go for Toronto. So we'll see what happens. MSG in the fall. Now, here's the thing about MSG. They could do MSG has some competition. You have the UBS Arena, which is we had Zach come on, Kermit the Frog. He came on for a John Mayer stream, and he's been on for a couple of these Dave Matthews Band streams. He's an awesome taper, goes to a lot of different shows, knows a lot about various parts of the music, the sound of bands. UBS Arena could get the bid over MSG, especially if MSG doesn't have availability for this fall tour. Don't be shocked. UBS Arena, no, UBS. So Umbrella Bravo Sierra. Let me show you guys what that looks like. I was there for the it's in Belmont, New York. So on Long Island. There's a racetrack where the Belmont Stakes takes place. It's right literally across. They literally built it right next to the racetrack. Brady says, crazy they haven't played the Stone tour. It's not crazy. So the Stone it's taken it a while for it to come out. The Barclays Center, I don't think so. The Barclays Center actually has lost a lot of value for artists because you have MSG and you have UBS Arena now. The Barclays Center is hard to get to. First off, it's not MSG, right? The quality of sound, the venue itself is not up to MSG. But what I will say about UBS Arena was built specifically for the sound of concerts. I was there for a hockey game. I'll show you guys a video of that. This venue was made for, that's my video. I got some awesome seats. And this venue was made for concerts. They spent millions of dollars just to have the acoustics there. And Kermit the Frog, aka Zach, who's in the New York area, he's been to tons of concerts at MSG. He said that it's arguably better at UBS Arena. The sound was better at UBS Arena than MSG. So don't be shocked if UBS Arena gets a show if they do end up doing a New York date and a fall tour. This venue is amazing. Now, there's no substitute for MSG. And listen, I've been to everything at the Garden except hockey. In the Westminster Dog Show. Everything else I've been to at the Garden. But the Garden is the Garden, but the Garden is booked up, right? The Garden is so booked up. It has 2 professional sports teams in the fall, right? The Rangers and the Knicks. It has a bunch of college basketball games. St. John's plays their home basketball games for the most part there. Seth Berry says, I haven't joined the stream in a few weeks and assume it has been covered ad nauseum, but getting the show postponement notice at the West Palm Beach Hotel was a tough one after flying in. And Seth, we did talk about it, and we're so sorry. We're so sorry that you had to go through that. That's horrible. And we did a stream. We actually talked to people from Florida that day that wanted to talk. And I appreciate those people who did want to talk. I would be very upset if that happened, even knowing that, listen, I know everyone was worried about the band, but to invest in that trip and then the show is, literally hours before, people are actually almost about to go tailgating. And they couldn't, some people were able to get in who paid the extra money, but people being turned away at the gate, it's tough. Memorial Day weekend. I know it's Florida, I know it's sunny, but that's a tough pill to swallow for that weekend. Shu York says the Knicks aren't really a sports team. Listen, I actually was at the game. I was actually at. This was last year. This was the first Knicks playoff win in like 70 years. No, I'm just kidding. But I was at this game with my dad, who's a huge Knicks fan. A family friend got us these tickets. Yeah, I'm glad they offered refunds for you, Seth. I know still the hotel, a rental car. I'm planning a trip right now for Deer Creek and Alpine. And I know it's so much to invest, even if you have the money. And I know the most important thing is Dave, but it's just the emotions of having to go somewhere and then it's canceled and fly in and go through the hassle. We're sorry that happened. Let's see. We may have to. Let's see. I don't know if Mark is. All right. So. More. All right, I'm gonna post a set list to Twitter, and then I'll share it with you guys. Shout out to Mark; he gave us this tonight's set list. All right, so let's actually refresh because they may have it on here. Oh, they have it on here, but I posted on Twitter. So it looks like nothing was changed. Let's see. Okay, so this is the set list. So they just had a solo spot. Obviously, it was Rye Whiskey. The only thing I can think of with the highlighted songs is this. Stay or Leave is a raised B tuning, and you go back to that main standard tuning guitar. Crush is a drop D guitar. So Lion Our Graves is a standard tuning guitar. So the highlights may be when they have to switch back to the standard guitar. And then Ants, after the solo, Rye Whiskey, I think may be a different tuning. What is Rye Whiskey? What is he uses a different guitar for Rye Whiskey? So I think that's what it may be. Because Ants, Lion Our Graves, and Two Step are all standard tuning songs, right? Where Stay or Leave is raised B, Crush is drop D, Lion Our Graves. Because you can play them all on a standard tuning guitar. Right? And then Ants is. Yeah, so there you go. That's some of the same set. They had Derek in there written in, Susan and Derek written in. I think with the guests, you have to have those pre-planned. This will tell the guests right here. What this means is that if an artist is not in this city and not touring, they have a chance to guess. I don't think you're going to see Alanis Morissette and other people that are on tours that happen to have an off day in the area. I don't think that's going to happen. It's too much risk. More for the other band than D&B because Dave already got it and some of the other band members have gotten it recently and they may have some immunity, right? But even the tour could get it through one of them. So Susan and Derek, they're not on tour right now. They're about to go on tour for this album, this multi-disc album they're putting out. And well, right now they're at home. They're chilling. They could, make sure they were negative a couple of days before this, negative yesterday. And I think once they were negative yesterday and today, they said, all right, Derek and Susan for Lion Our Graves for Watchtower, right? So that's what you have there. hate that part that Tim does. That so annoying, so annoying. He plays that stupid piercing song. I hate it. Tim, you need to stop it. All right, let me be nice. Let me be nice. Shout out to Tim Reynolds. I love Tim Reynolds. And it like he's gotten better at that, but that piercing part in Satellite is brutal. So, let me talk about this. In this set list actually kind of corresponds with it. So it's almost 6/8, 2022. And that is a let's see if I have pictures of this here. Do I have pictures of it? I don't know if I have it. But I wanted to talk about the set list complaining again. And I want to offer perspective on this because I understand why people are upset with the set list. I know it may sound crazy to some of you guys, but I understand why people are upset with the set list. I got into some conversations today on Facebook about why the set lists are, why people are, people are like, oh, the set lists are repetitive, all this other stuff. And my thing was this: someone tried to say the openers are predictable. I predicted the openers. You got lucky. If you predicted an opener, you got lucky. Okay. There's been 12 shows and 10 different openers. Okay. That's unique for DMB. There's some people, oh, they're not playing any rare songs, bruh. They busted out Dreaming Tree. They busted out Shotgun. Right? They busted out Break Free and Break For It. Number 27 has made an early appearance. Two Step, which is now a rarity, has 6 plays. Right? Two Step has not been played this much. Let's just go to the tape to see Two Step. Right? Two Step has already been eclipsed. Last year, we have more Two Steps in 2022 before we even hit the Northeast, right? We have more Two Steps in 2022 than we did in 2021. Right? In 2019, we did get some more Two Steps, and we're passing 2019. And right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 overall. This is the Dave and Tim at the top. But at 7 plays, it was June 22nd that the band had 7 in 2019. And we already have 7 right here. And these are Dave and Tim's, these 215 and 218, right? It's all in the game, right? There's 2 of those for Dave and Tim. In 2018, we already passed 2018 for the number 2 steps. This band was playing a lot in 2018, right? But they still eclipsed 2018. 2016, they're coming close to 2016, right? When we had this many, it was September when we had 7 2 steps. Dave and Tim or full band. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these are from the summer tour alone. Right? Now, 2015, we got a bunch of them, and we got a bunch even through 2013, 2012, right? And 2011 was short because there was only Caravan, right? It's a miscellaneous show. So my thing is, look, you're getting rarities. You're not, now you can argue, all right, we don't have the Stone, we don't have this. But historically, the South has not been a spot where you get all these rarities. They've been in the South a lot longer than normal. 12 shows all in the South. That's a lot for DMB in this current era. Usually by now they've at least gone up north and then maybe they come back down south, right? And it should have been 14 shows, really, if you had West Palm Beach. The band is going to be going back up towards the Midwest and northeastern part of this country. I know Ohio is more Midwestern than Northeast. Alex says 4 of the 2 steps were Dave and Tim. Yep, another great point. Yeah, 4 of those were Dave and Tim, right? And I believe one of them for 2021, one of those was the first one that was played was Dave solo at the Talk House in Long Island. But even though I say all that, even though I'm defending the band, I understand why people are frustrated with the sets. And what it comes down to is you have tour fatigue. Now, some of you guys love everything that Dave plays. I am not. Yeah, we're still Amy. What's up, Amy? Yes, we're still live. I hope you're well. I hope you're well. I really hope you're doing well. We love seeing you on here. But I understand why people are frustrated with these sets, right? I do want to say, I guess I still can, listen, today I complained about the set list. One before these crowded streets. Are you kidding me? Right? Or 2 overall for the week?
Bruh.
That's crazy. Right? But I understand, and here's why. As we about to turn into June 8th, this was my June 8th, 2013. Glad to hear you're good, Amy. We love you. This was my 4th show ever. Okay. Still hadn't gotten number 41 live. But this was my 4th show ever. If this weekend does not happen, if June 7th, 2013 and June 8th, 2013 does not happen, I'm probably not on right now. This is when the whole show shuts off, right? The shut off effect, right? I can't do that on there. I don't have those bells and whistles. But Kyle, I see you in the chat. Yeah, we thank you for being on. We really appreciate your perspective. Right fresh out of the show, and you tried to make it work by any means necessary. So we appreciate it. We know, listen, guys, I know it's not easy to be on this show as you're leaving a venue, trying to fight traffic or trying to get out. So we really appreciate, we do not take anyone for granted who comes on and offers their time and offers their opinion in a public forum, right? Because I know sometimes it's hard because people are in the chat, people are going to comment, oh, I don't like that song, or oh, you're complaining. I welcome all opinions. And that's why this is why I'm talking about this right now. So this was my 4th show ever. Spoon at the 6th spot. A Seek Up opener, right? The riff into Gray Street. A Mercy, that was whack. It was too long. That Mercy was too long, and we didn't have Buddy Strong yet. So that was trash. But So Right, you got a Jimmy Thing Gaucho, and then you get a Best of What's Around recently, a Blue Water partial, and a 2-step to end. When you go to a show like this is why I'm Concert Viz 34. And for many of you guys who go to Deer Creek as your home venue, who go to Hartford as your home venue, who used to be at Mansfield back when Mansfield had 2 shows. If your home venue is Alpine or SPAC, there were moments like this, there were shows like this that gave you a high that is hard to replicate. And every show is not going to be like this, but when you go to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shows and you don't get something close to this, for those of you who saw Leroy Moore and saw the classic era of this band, and you go through all that, and then you're at this point, the ticket prices are up. I understand why people are frustrated with the shows. I also have a reformed mind where I was able to mentally say, listen, you had your day in 2013. You have to go to these shows with low expectations. You have to go to shows for different reasons than the set list. I have changed and grown, and some of you guys have helped me get there. To just go to a show with no expectation, go to a show to appreciate the show itself, and then come home and talk about it. So I understand if you are at home and you're like, man, I don't know what it is, man. Like this show right here, man, like there's a sledgehammer, and do you remember, and you and me, and like where is that breakout moment that I got in 2010 or 2012 or 2014? The majority of people don't live like some of you guys do, but there's a lot of fans that go to one show a year, and it's not a venue like Hartford used to be. It's not how Deer Creek is. Deer Creek is still great. Alpine is still great. SPAC is still great. But there is something about this, and Kyle, I don't think if it's you don't enjoy a show, you're following the wrong band. I think if you're not enjoying every show, you have to take a couple steps back. And again, this is something that, again, growing up in Hartford and I was late to the party. I was a Dave Matthews Band fan in 2005. Like, and that was when I was 15, right? 14, 15. And this was the show before. This was 6, 7. I showed this yesterday. Imagine this being your third show. What do you think your standard is for Dave Matthews Band shows? 34 T's into JTR. And again, this is years after Leroy Moore passed away. Right? 34 in the JTR warehouse, Squirm, Broken Things, I Dare of You, Kill the Preacher, Why I Am Captain, Belly into Fish Tender, Song That Jane Likes, Lion Our Graves, Running Down the Dream, the first time the band ever played that song in the full band format. Stefan played it with Yukon Cornelius, I believe. A Rooftop, Dreaming Tree, Rhyme and Reason, Everyday, Ants Marching, Drunken Soldier, Watchtower. This was the weekend. This was the most important weekend of my Dave Matthews Band life. If this weekend did not happen the way it happened, I probably am just a one show a year type person. Again, going back to this night too. Now it's past midnight in the East Coast. This weekend changed my life. So I know what it's like to go to more shows and not get something close to this. I know what it's like to have my first show have a Stone opener and Blackjack, and none of those songs, like Blackjack, I've never gotten it since. The Stone is a hard one to chase. But I also understand that some people just love what the band does no matter what, and that's okay too. But I want to provide those people perspective that when you have a moment, when you have a summer like 2013, the Eastern Coast shows in 2013 were fuego. Captain was in rotation. We got a Long Black Veil after this show. Oh, by the way, let me show you the next show I went to. So I continued with the actually just after Hartford, they took the week off, but went to Boston. This is my next show. I got Long Black Veil in my 5th show ever. You know, just casually. Idea of You was played again. Captain yet again. So in this 3-night run, Hartford nights 1 and 2 and Mansfield night 1, Captain was played twice. Recently was played twice. Drunken Soldier, I got 2 Drunken Soldiers. I got the Last True Reflections full band. I got 2 2-steps, right? So, and then the next night, I didn't go because it was Father's Day, but people who went to the next night got Victor Wooten on number 41. Got another riff. So, 2 of the 4 riffs this summer was played in Hartford and Mansfield. 2 of the 8 JTRs were played in Hartford and Mansfield. You see what I'm saying? So, if you grow up in Hartford or Boston or Springfield, Massachusetts, you're in between both venues. When you grow up in an area that has such DMB magic in 2010, in 2011, in 2012, and 2013, and then it seems like they don't necessarily touch that era set list wise. And the fans here, just like a Boston Red Sox or a New York Yankees baseball fan, they know their baseball. Well, not all of them. There's a lot of posers, but the true, like the diehard Boston Red Sox fan, they know their baseball. It's a big baseball town. That's the same thing with DMB. People know their catalog because they were taught by their friends or by their older brother or their older cousin, right? So it's a sense of when you are some of the things that make people happy about DMB is these rare moments. And DMB still doesn't play out the set list, their catalog every time. There's so many random things about DMB. And here's the other challenge. You could say, hey, if you don't like these sets, don't go to the shows, right? You could tell people that, right? But what's so random about DMB is let's say you said, you know what? It's your boy Conservist 34. I'm only going to my Hartford and Mansfield shows. I'm upset with the set list, and I don't want to I'm not going to go to the Southern shows. And then you watch the Southern shows be played this year, and Dreaming Tree is played, and Shotgun is played. Now you're like, wow, I should have went on that trip to art. Like, this is just from the perspective of someone who's really chasing these songs. People who have been to 30, 40 shows and never had Dreaming Tree, right? Never had Shotgun, right? I'm at show number 32, never had Shotgun. There's people that have been to 50, 60, 70 shows and didn't have Halloween. So imagine you're chasing these songs and all these songs are played out. And then you go to a show like tonight and you don't get Shotgun or Dreaming Tree all weekend. Right? So I'm just trying to provide, you don't have to agree with this. I'm just trying to give you the mindset of somebody who grows up and goes to like one show and it changes their life. Like this weekend changed my life. Couple of things that weekend I remember. I remember I was working at and there's no shame in this. Shout out to people who work in factories. But I was unemployed for about 3 or 4 months. I couldn't find a job and I was struggling to figure out what I wanted to do. And I was working part-time at FedEx. And FedEx is actually a great company to work for. Or if you buy a route of FedEx, like the people who own the routes, FedEx doesn't own the delivery routes, other people do. It's a liability thing. They don't there's less liability on them. They pay other people to deliver it to the actual place. Amazon, same thing. But I was literally working at a factory part-time at my parents'. I was trying to figure out a way to find a career. I have that career now. I have my own spot now. Right. And I just remember like that. And I remember how this weekend changed my life. And I said, I want to go to these I want to go to whatever it takes. It wasn't the only reason my career took, like I grew my career. I want to be able to go to these shows. I don't want to be at my parents'. It was a lot of different come to Jesus moments during this time in my life. I had just graduated in 2013. I had graduated. It had been a year. June of 2013 had been just a year since I graduated college. And I had a role and I didn't pass a test and I lost my job and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I was just like, I was working part-time, couldn't find anything for a couple of months. And then I found something and I started getting my career rolling. But I say all that to say that people love DMB for different reasons and people chase certain things from an experience. Now, I'll tell you what changed for me. Your boy Conservist 34, 32 shows in. What changed for me? Well, first off, the traveling became just as fun as the shows. When I started to travel to other shows, and I remember this, Greg, you said this, I don't know if you're watching, you said, hey man, I was saying something about other venues. And this was a great point because, Greg's been to some Devil Socks. You guys see him in the chat. He's been to a lot. She's like, hey, you're talking about these venues that you've never been to. So I decided to start going to different venues. And that's part of what I'm doing this year with Alpine and Deer Creek. And when I went to the Gorge, it was less about the music. When I started to travel to Madison, and I know it's right down the block, but I went to my first MSG show. and I started going to Guilford, New Hampshire, and SPAC. And I know SPAC is still a crazy. Listen, SPAC is doper than what I was getting in Hartford, but still, that's not the point. The point is, I started to make friends in the community. I started to go to shows so that because of the people I was with, it wasn't just about the set list. Now, again, I don't like Bayou. You probably will never change. I don't like You and Me. That'll probably never change. But what am I saying? I'm saying that I found more to the show than the actual set list. Now, it was hard. It was not easy because, again, what I was blessed with so early on in my first couple of shows was pretty amazing. Blackjack and Stone opener in Blackjack in my first show. People tease in my second show, and He was played, a typical situation, right? My third show, you saw it's right here, right? JTR 34 tees on the 12 string, Fish Tender, Dreaming Tree. Imagine going to your third show and you get Dreaming Tree in 2013, not like 2008 it was played a lot, not in 2018, right? Fourth show, right? Spoon. Got Spoon in my people go literally 70, 80 shows and don't get Spoon. I got it in my fourth show. So it's all about your perspective, but I learned to say, listen, it's more than just this. But it was not, I had to actually, again, I had to self-reflect. I had to put things in perspective. I had to listen to people that were going to shows. And that's what this used to be me here just talking about a set list by myself. Now, I still do that. I'm doing that right now. But I said, hey, let me call people at the show. And then I went to certain shows, right? There were some shows I'm like, yo, I don't like Do You Remember? I don't like That Girl Is You, but you know what? They sound really good tonight. I remember going to Mohegan 2018. The You and Me that night sounded amazing. The sound was on point. And you learn from that. And you start to say, listen, I probably will never be a huge fan of You and Me or Jimmy Thing in its 45-minute form, but let me come here with an open mind to whatever they play. If it still sounds bad, I will report that this song is still trash. If the song sounds better, or there's a new part I hear in it that I appreciate, or I'm following Carter on his drum set during Can't Stop, and I appreciate what he's doing with the drums, I can find joy in these sets. And here we are. I still will complain about songs, but I've learned to say if I'm at the show, I'm going to take in the show and enjoy it. And again, this is just a perspective, and this is just like sports. So Kyle, down there in Jacksonville, I don't know if you're in Florida, but down there in the South, right? I have family down there. Georgia football is live and die. But you know what? Up here, UConn football, we just celebrated the fact that we got an Alabama transfer. Someone went through the transfer portal through Alabama. They're not good enough to be a starter at Alabama anymore. But we will take an Alabama backup because UConn football we had one Fiesta Bowl. That was versus Oklahoma. That was our one moment. And we beat Michigan once. We've only been Division I for about 15 years, the mid-2000s. So for me, when I go to UConn football games, it's a huge thing. Now, a Georgia fan, right? What did Georgia do? Georgia fired Mark Richt, and he had like a 7-3 record. Mark Richt was doing very well at Georgia, and Alabama was just unbeatable. But Georgia has such a high standard of excellence, even though they hadn't won since 1980? They just won this year. But Georgia, the way they attack football, their expectations, their wins and losses are treated differently. UConn won one game, I think it was 2 years ago. Right? And I go to UConn games almost every year. If not, I watch at least 4 or 5 of their games. I'm busy with other stuff, but I at least watch 4 or 5 UConn football games. Let's go Huskies. And our basketball team is different, right? Our basketball team, the women, like it's foreign to us that the women have not won in years. That South Carolina and Stanford and all the other teams are now really at an even keel with us. So I'm adjusting to that because now I know, like, listen, the women aren't just going to clean house. The UConn men have a high standard of excellence. We have 4 championships since 1999. So I'm saying all that to say that everyone comes to D&B with different perspectives, and we all have things that we can learn about this. Whether it's some people are just, I said this earlier, y'all need to pick up your trash at the shows, right? Get a drink. You're going to get more drinks. Put the drinks you have in your crew, recycle them, right? Some people need to be better with that. Some people need to be more aware of their neighbors and respectful of their neighbors. There's all things we can work on as human beings, and I'm. This is an extended rant, but my point is, there is various perspectives, and I get, and that's what I do. I understand people who just want to hear D&B play the phone book. I can understand what that is because there's bands that like that for me. And a Dave and Tim show, they could literally read the phone book. I would enjoy it. For full band D&B, that's not the case. And again, I understand why people are complaining. So Amy says, I wish I knew how I can tell people how good D&B is. Here's the thing. You can't. You have to go. Again, my first show 10 years ago, I liked their studio stuff. I thought Leroy Moore was a smooth jazz player. I like this brother smooth. I did not fully get it until I went. Same thing with Fish. First Fish show was this year. Since I've been to that show, even as I was becoming a fan since 2020 or 2021, really, last year, is when I finally started to click. I was listening. I went on like a 2-mile walk today, and I was listening to Fish for like an hour. And it's just clicking. All of their stuff is clicking now. It's clicking because I went to a show and that show changed my outlook on Fish. Same thing with Goose. I went to my first Goose show. They're like a new up and coming jam band. Really, they're a groove band. They're not a jam band to me. And now that when I listen to Goose, I was listening to them on the way to the grocery store the other day, and now I get it. So the best way for someone to understand what D&B is like, how good it is to bring them to a show. They may not be open to it, but if you get them to the show, they'll find something. They may not even go to another show again, but they'll appreciate Carter Beauford. They'll appreciate what Dave is doing. You really just have to take someone to the show. And that's the magic of a show. You could be sitting here at home, still yet to go to your first D&B show of the tour and think X, Y, and Z. But once that band takes the stage in your city, wherever you're going for your first show, it's a whole different. This band they sound amazing. This band is just the Sirius XM streams, guys. They're not paying me to say this, right? I'll let you know if they do, okay? But hey, maybe there's a contract there for your boy, Conspiracy 34, SXM. I'm speaking it right now. I'm claiming it. But anyway, guys, I know some people don't have Sirius XM. It's $9.99 a month, and you can negotiate it down if you call them after a trial period for the Sirius XM app. And the app has great sound. It's actually better than the radio signal you get in your car. Listen to them on Sirius XM. Listen to them on Sirius XM. I've listened to some of these shows, and I'm like, wow. This band sounds. Listen. What is in Hamilton? Talk less, smile more. Right? Talk less and listen more. And you'll see how great this band sounds on tour. Amy says, I've taken 4 new people with me, and I still don't think they get it. Yeah, and that happens too. Like I said, that happens. And I agree, though. I wish people could really see how great this band is and open their minds. And some people aren't going to like it. And listen, to me, if you don't like it, that's your loss, right? Right? It is that's a life lesson. Hey, you don't like it? Hey, do yourself. Do whatever makes you happy. You like Nickelback? That's fine. You like Jason Aldean? I don't. That's fine. Right? I'd rather have Chris Stapleton. Don't sit around arguing. It's just like it's like I see a lot of stuff right now. It's hard for me to refrain. Right? I see all this crazy stuff right online with relationships. And all these guys saying crazy stuff, all these girls saying crazy. Oh, I need my man like I need my man to do X, Y, and Z, and then he got to pay X. Like, I don't have time to argue with these crazy chicks, right? Because I got my girl, right? I got the love of my life. I'm good, right? What I need to worry about what other people are doing in their relationship, like Will Smith and Jada. Oh, I got this entanglement. I would never have an entanglement, but hey, that's their life, right? Do you, right? So that's how I feel. Like, yeah, I'm just living my life, right? There's things I'm passionate about, but I can't change people, right? Oh, your son turned you on to Tool. We have a couple of Tool fans. Actually, I would say there's a considerable amount of Tool fans that love DMB. Our friend John Dix, Amy. John, John's been on the show. He's in the intro of this video. The bald head. He is a huge Tool fan. And so he went to a show this year. He pretty much goes every tour to see Tool. Yeah. And sometimes it takes a couple of times. Sometimes it takes a couple of shows. Sometimes it takes just a couple. Like the weirdest things will get people into these bands. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, that's my perspective. I hope. Hey, share this video with other people. I'm just trying to give people perspective, and it's up to you. Listen, you don't have to agree with it, but I know what it's like to be someone who can appreciate a show no matter what. I know what it's like. Listen, to be like, listen, this 14-minute Mercy was brutal. This 14-minute Mercy was brutal. Okay. Not going to even lie. It sucked. Right? And it is what it is. But I mean, there was just, there's so much great things. And with this band, I think that the gift and the curse with this band is if they just played the same set every night, there would be less complaints. People would just go to one show a year, right? Because they play the same set every night. Maybe some people would go to 2 shows because, listen, there's people who go to like, one of my exes was obsessed with Sam Smith, right? She would go to like 3 or 4 shows on the tour, even though it's the same set. So you would have some fans who would still do, because you just want to be in the room with Dave, right? But if they played the same set every night, there would be less complaints. If they played like Fish, where they play they play the song book out every week, and there's no repeats for a whole week, right? It would be a little bit different. It also would be more confusing in some ways, even though we can't conceptualize it because we're like, hey, just play out the set list. I mean, play out the song book, right? But you probably wouldn't have as much of a mainstream grab or attention if they did not have certain staples. Even though Ants Marching isn't played every show, Crashing to Me, there's still 5 or 6 like really, really fun pump-up songs that are rotated in the set every tour. And you see 15 of those, 10, 15 of those minimum, if not more. So what makes them what is the best thing and the worst thing about this band is you really never know. You truly never. Now, Fish has some crazy stuff, and the Dead and Company and the Grateful Dead has some crazy stuff where like it would be the first Sugary in like X amount of months, or the first Brown Eyed Woman, right? Or like just stuff like that. I'm probably saying the wrong songs, but they did have certain songs that just weren't played. But what makes DMB so great is you don't get the whole catalog every week. So if you get something special, the emotions that go, like shout out to Fatima, right? The emotions that went through her when she got, I think it was it Dreaming Tree? Yeah, she got Dreaming Tree, and it was emotional. Even for me, when I got it's crazy. What You Are was that song for me. When I was at Madison Square Garden last year and What You Are came on, right? I was going nuts. Right? Where is it? Like take a look at this. Woo! This was just me when they were playing these songs on SiriusXM radio for the live shows. Then I went to the shows. Let's take a look at this. Me at the shows. Broken Things and What You Are.
Yo, stop playing. Stop playing. Stop playing around, folks.
Where's the other one? No, that's another one. And then also the Broken Things. Where's the pit? When they played Broken Things and your boy is like feet from Dave. Oh my gosh, I was so excited. Let's listen. Let's look at this.
You want to be so sure. Every step you take puts you. Can't always know what's coming. You can always trust your twist of fate. But my love, my heart is set on you, set on you. Oh, my love, my heart is.
And I had got that again. I got that song in my third show, but like it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Like it was such Broken Things and What You Are. Those aren't even my favorite songs. It was the fact that they're hard to get, and and that's what people are chasing. That moment you feel when that song hits you. And you may not like Pig for people. A lot of people, it's hard to get Pig if you're not in a certain part of the country. And that song means so much to you. And that's the other thing you have to keep in mind. Some of these rare cuts that the band hardly plays, these have been songs that got people through the loss of animals that they love, the loss of loved ones, the loss of jobs, and the loss of hope. The songs gave them hope. And so they're trying to do everything mentally to get that song, and it's so hard. Like I said, I know I'm beating a dead drum. The drum's beating louder, but I'm about to go 2 hours. The second hour is me talking about setlist. But I hope this does provide some perspective. That part of the reason we do go to shows is because some of this stuff. It shouldn't be the only reason, but for many people, it's a big part of it. And this is a big investment. Ticket prices have gone up. And yes, the ideal thing is if you don't like this band, take a break, right? Take a time out, reflect, right? Close your eyes and reflect, right? But it's not that easy because then you have that fear of missing out. And then if the band plays that rarity and you're not there, it is. That's why I haven't missed a Hartford show, period. Dave and Tim or Dave Matthews Band since 5/26/2012 because that was an amazing show. I have not missed a Mansfield show since 6/16/2013 because Victor Wooten guested on 41. And I missed it because I was chilling. It was Father's Day and I went home to chill with my father. Now, I could have still had Father's Day brunch and went back up to Mansfield. I really could have. But I was like, I'm going to take it easy. Yeah, it is what it is. I haven't missed a Mansfield show since then. So this is a very multi-layered situation as far as how we all view this band. But I think for those of you who are frustrated with the sets, I feel you on some of this stuff. Try to find ways to just understand the appreciation or take it. And people, that's the thing is people are doing that. I've seen people say, look, I'm not going to these shows. I'm taking a couple of shows off. I'm just going to take a break. And I really applaud that because that's not easy. Again, it's become a big part of people's lives. And some people are saying, look, I'm stepping back for a second. I need to focus on just getting this whole thing right. I'm not happy looking at these sets. I need to step back. And the other thing is if you were upset, I always say the data right there. Oh, where am I? See the data right there? If you have an anger, take your emotions and make sure it lines up with the data. Don't complain about the openers. And then we have 10 different openers in 12 shows, right? Complain about the closers, right? If you think the set closers are whack or the encore is whack and you have data to back that up, or the middle sets just don't have a lot of diversity, or there's not enough before these crowded streets, use the data. You have to combine emotion and data. And data is more important than emotion for the sake of a discussion. If you just come in hot with just emotions to debate people, it ruins any hope of being in good faith. You can't be in good faith and have all your emotions leading your conversation. That's why I pull up here to the almanac. We look at things, we see trends, and then we say, does the data support what we believe? And there you have it. That's the show. So anyway, thank you guys for the support. Thank you guys for being here. It's 12:30 in the morning here on the East Coast, and there's still 4 people on here, and I appreciate that. Amy, we're glad to see you around. We hope you are doing well. I know you said you work. And everyone else, thank you for popping in. We are going to end the show with, we will do Early Home. Let's get to Early Home. But thank you guys. I'll see you guys on Friday. That's the next show, right? Let me make sure. So I believe that's the next show. Shout out to everyone who's coming off the Fish tours. You're going back to DMB. You were following Fish as they did their little spring run. Yep, Friday the 10th. Cuyahoga County, Blossom, Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, just outside of Cleveland, which is in Cuyahoga County as well, in Northeast Ohio. They share Interstate 90 with us Northeasterners and New Englanders and upstate New Yorkers. That goes straight through from Boston to upstate New York, and then it hits Ohio. All right, folks, it's going to do it. Early Home, Batson Sessions from 2006. It's your boy Conservative 34. You guys have a wonderful night. Peace.
Early home to surprise my love and find my love in another's arms. My heart flew from love to rage when I read my love the final bitter page. Still warm though no embrace, her empty eyes on her empty face, and I will still rue the day. Why did I not just walk away? If I had only called to let her know, she'd have had a chance to get him out the door. A simple thing, but it's too late. A moment I've sealed her killer's fate. You could see right through me all the way. Empty eyes from an empty face, and I will live to rue the day. Why did I not just walk away? So we can start again. Oh no, we go outside the light on me. Still warm, no embrace. Your empty eyes on this empty face, and I will always rue the day. Why did I not just walk away? Early home to surprise my love.